Hey geometry class, this is Mr. Coker with my third video about similarity and proportions. This time we're solving for x. Well, last time we were solving for x. The difference is this time we're solving for a more complicated x. It doesn't just say x. It says 5x minus 5. More difficult. Okay, there are actually two ways you can do this, but I'm only going to do it one way. You can do what we did last time, and you can do like something like 30 over x equals 18 over 21, solve for x, and then solve for the side, for this side, and then put it in an equation, 5x minus 5 equals blank. You could do that, but I'm going to show you the more common, easier way to probably do it. Probably less complicated. Maybe not, I don't know. Okay. I'm going to start by doing the exact same thing I did last time, which is set up my equation. I'm going to put 30 over 5x minus 5. Now, why am I picking 30 and 5x minus 5? Here's why. Because we have corresponding sides. See at 25? 25 don't mean anything. It's useless. I'm getting rid of it. He can go away. He's useless. You know why he's useless? Because we don't have a measurement for the corresponding line or side of this figure. So 30, we have an 18. Notice this. 30, 18. So 30, 18. When you think of it this way, 30 equals 18, 30 equals 18. 5x minus 5 equals 21. Now, it doesn't equal 21. That's not what I mean, so don't try to solve it for 21. For one thing, you'll get a decimal or fraction, and it'll be ugly. More importantly, though, it'll be wrong. That's what's more important. Okay. Now, I'm going to do just what we did last time in video 2, and that is cross multiply. If I cross multiply, I'm going to do 5x. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to go like this, okay? So I'm going to do 18 times the quantity of 5x minus 5. Does that look fun that we got distributive property going on? Dang right. Okay, and then I'm going to do 21 times 30. Hopefully I can draw a 0. You would think drawing a 0 would be easy, but not for me. I'm not very artistic. Okay, now we've set up the problem now. All we've got to do from here on out is solve this lovely, fun-looking problem. I say that sarcastically because most students don't really like these problems. However, I love them. So I'm going to do 18x. I'm going to distribute. 18 times 5x. 18 times 5x. We're distributing. Just a quick note on the distributive property. Anytime we're doing distributive property, we're going to do the number outside parentheses times each term, no matter how many terms, inside parentheses. So I'm going to do 18 times 5x. 18 times 5x is 90x. Secondly, I'm going to do 18 times 5. And I get 90. Well, 18 times 5 is 90. So nice thing about this, you only have to do, if you use a calculator, you only need to put it in once. 18 times 5. is always 90. But 18 times 5x is 90x. 18 times 5 is 90. Okay? Good. I'm going to assume that everyone's watching was like, yes, that's okay, and we're good. If not, you can pause it. Okay, secondly, 21 times 30, that's a fun number. Well, it will give you 630. I suggest you use a calculator if you need to. Okay, all I've done is simplify this so far. So first thing we did, again, we set up proportionate fractions. We then cross multiply those fractions. And now we've simplified. Set up, simplify, solve. Set up, simplify, solve. Now, we're going to solve. I'm running out of room. You'll lower this camera. Okay. Now I have more room. First things first, and that's a two-step equation. I'm going to add 90 to both sides. Because 90 is the, plus 90 is the inverse operation of minus 90. And we want that to go bye-bye. So, 90x equals, with the 90s canceled out, and the 90x came down, and now we have 90x equals 630 plus 90. 630 plus 90 is 720. 720. Again, if you need to, use a calculator. Now, last part. 90x equals 720. What operation is taking place? That's right. It's multiplication. I assume everyone watching was like, multiplication! That's accurate, right? Right? Anyway. What's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So the inverse operation of multiplication is division. Here's you sloppy looking divided by 90, which cancels out our 90s. Whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. So we have x equals, what's 720 divided by 90? It is 8. And so x equals 8. Is that fun? Again, I love these. I can't help it, but I also am a high school math teacher, so, whatever. Of course I love these problems, but I know it's a lot of steps. You know what? At the beginning of the video, I said I'm going to do it one way. I think I'll do it two ways. You know why? Because it might help. If you try this way and you're like, that's ugly and stupid, you can try a different way. But I warn you, it's going to be pretty similar. And we're going to do a lot of the same types of work, just the numbers won't be as big. So if you don't want to watch anymore, turn it off. If you do want to watch an alternate way of doing it, hold on, because I'm going to put it up here. Now, pause it if you need to, because I'm going to do a race. Okay, so the second way of doing it is just like in the previous video. I'm going to do 30 over x equals 18 over 21. Think of it this way once again. 30 equals 18. 30 equals 18. X, because I'm treating that like an x, like we don't know anything. over x equals 21. Okay? Two ways to do this. You can multiply by 21. Misspoke. You could multiply multiply both sides by 30 and then divide by 18. You could do that. You could multiply both sides by 30 divided by 18. But just like in the previous video, I'm going to not do it that way. I'm going to do 18 times x equals 21 times 30. I don't know the opposite order, but it shouldn't matter. 18 times x is 18x. 30 times 21, what did we say that was? 630? Good so far? Again, if you need to, use a calculator. It's good for, there's nothing wrong with using a calculator. In fact, just to make sure I don't get my answer wrong in a video, I'll use a calculator. Okay, so now we divide each side by 18 because 18x is multiplication. We do the inverse operation. And we get x equals 35. Okay? That's not the answer. But are you with me? I hope so. I use a space off to the right of the board. Remember how this is now 35. But we don't know what x equals. The side is 35. So 35 equals 35 and 5x minus 5 are the same value. So that means 35 equals 5x minus 5. Another two-step equation. Start by adding 5 to each side. I'm going to erase this 21, so it's not to interfere with our work. Now we're going to get 35 plus 5 is 40. The 5's on this side cancel, and we have 5x. Now, divide each side. Well, again, it's multiplication, so we divide each side by 5. $40 divided by 5 is 8. And what do you know? We got the same answer that we got the other way. We just did it without getting as many big numbers. But it's the same thing. We got the same answer. I think it's about equal in terms of work. But hey, maybe this way will be easier for you. Again, like in so many things in math, there are different ways to do it. There are different ways to get the same answer. So I gave you 2 of them on this problem, and that's it on the video, because the video's about to be 15 minutes long. That's long. That's so long. I'm making it longer, just making dumb jokes, but whatever. At least that will be entertaining, I hope. Anyway, again, one last run through. Set up the proportions, set up the fractions, and you cross multiply, then you simplify, then you solve. So that's it. Have a nice day.